What is going on, guys? Bug Boy here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 favorite adaptations of the Batman. Now, how does this work? Basically, I am counting any form of Batman media except for the comics, since that's the source material, and that wouldn't really be fair to add that to the rankings, since obviously it would have to be in first place. So this counts for things such as movies, TV shows, video games, and etc. So enough of me yapping, let's get on with our honorable mentions. For honorable mention number 1, I have the 2004 Batman from the TV show The Batman. Now, some of you may call me crazy for having this so low, but hear me out. This Batman is great and all, but what impact did he have on culture that other Batman didn't have? I mean, the reason why this Batman is so good is because they tried to make him very similar to Batman the Animated Series. But they did change some things, and some of these changes I did not like, such as the Joker being an acrobatic martial artist, and also Killer Croc being portrayed as a suave Cajun crime boss. I got that from Reddit, by the way. I did watch the show, but I saw that on Reddit and thought I'd put it in the video, but I just thought that was a funny description of Killer Croc in the show. But that doesn't have anything to do with my ranking, since that does not affect Batman's character in this series. Why he is so low is just because he lacks relatability. I do not really ever find myself relating to this Batman. Relatability, I feel like, is the main focal point of Batman as a character. But I will say the quote by Bruce when he says why he took in Robin is an amazing line, and that line is what made me actually understand why Batman took Dick Grayson in as Robin. Before I heard that line, I always wondered, why would Bruce take in a kid to fight crime with him? Doesn't make sense. And then, when he explained in the show that he took in Dick Grayson because he believes Dick needed someone to guide him through the tough times he was facing, and that's why he'd adopted Dick, that made sense. But still, why did he make him Robin? But Bruce then also states that the criminal who was responsible for his parents' death was never brought to justice, and that was not a burden he wanted to let Dick carry. Bruce didn't want Dick's childhood to be consumed by revenge like his was. That line in the show is a perfect example of Batman's humanity, and that was my favorite part of the show. So now let's get on with the second and final honorable mention. For honorable mention number 2, you're all gonna hate me. I am putting Robert Pattinson's Batman. Now don't get me wrong, Robert Pattinson might just be my favorite actor, live action actor for Batman, but I still can't put him in my top 5. Let me explain. When I saw the Batman 2022 in theaters, as a kid, I loved the movie. I loved it so much I saw it 3 times in theaters, and when I had my tonsils removed in surgery, during recovery, I remember the movie had just been brought to streaming services, and I watched the movie during recovery. So this movie is very special to me, but even though I had this movie very dear to me, I can't put it in my top 5. Now, don't get me wrong, this Batman is great at showing the early stages of Bruce becoming Batman. There's something so amazing about a young and angry Batman. This movie definitely took inspiration from Batman Year 1 and possibly even The Long Halloween, but I'm not 100% sure about that last part, so don't quote me. I'm just basing it on my personal experiences with both stories and how I see the similarities. And I believe that Robert Pattinson absolutely has the potential to be the greatest live-action Batman of all time. But here's the key detail as to why he is not in my top 5 currently. Simply, we have not seen enough of him. He's had one movie. Compared to what most Batmen get, that's not a lot of screen time. Therefore, we haven't gotten to see enough growth from this Batman. Now, I mean, this Batman has definitely shown character development, but that's for a later video. I just mean compared to other Batman, he hasn't had the chance yet to show his full potential. So enough with the honorable mentions. Let's get on with the top 5 greatest adaptations of Batman. At the number 5 spot, we have Christopher Nolan's Batman. I nearly put Christian Bale as my number 4 spot just because this Batman is very special to me. Bale's Batman obviously has the most well-written films, and I don't think anyone can argue with that. And that's not even the reason why I love this Batman so much. The reason why I love this Batman as a character so much is because I believe he has such a great impact on me and others as people. Whether it was me being motivated to work harder in sports, in school, or even at my jobs. I remembered watching the Dark Knight trilogy as a kid and not quite understanding the movies. But then, as I grew older and I rewatched the movies again, I realized how amazing they were. Bruce Wayne going through training in Batman Begins motivated me to work harder in life. But the other reason as to why I love this adaptation is just because he is very relatable. Sure, with working hard, but also with his love life. In The Dark Knight, Bruce knows that he cannot be with Rachel, who is the love of his life, unless he stops being Batman. And that's all Bruce wants to do, is stop being Batman. and to be with her. But he is torn between both sides because he knows Gotham is not in a state currently that can go without Batman. And Bruce watches as the love of his life goes to try and live a life with another person. And I feel like that's a pain that nearly every person can relate to. Also, The Dark Knight is my favorite film, so you know. Anyways, enough of us getting into emotions. Time for our number 4 spot. Coming up at number 4, we have Lego Batman. Now, some of you guys may call me crazy for this, but let's face it, Lego Batman is one of the most faithful adaptations to the comics. So that alone gives him many bonus points. But it's not always just about being faithful to the comics. The Batman I am talking about specifically is the TT Games Batman. This Batman takes all the good things from each previous Batman and combines them into a great Batman. I do not have any complaints with this Batman. Something about classic Batman fighting crime with Robin and not always dealing with emotional drama or anything like that is pretty nice. It's almost a breath of fresh air. This Batman is definitely not relatable, but he's fun, which is something that video games are supposed to be. And that's why he is my number 4 on my list. Now let's move on to our top 3 greatest adaptations of Batman. In the number 3 spot, we have the DC Animated Universe Batman, aka the DC AMU Batman specifically, not the one with Jensen Ackles and stuff. Now this Batman is not as well known as the other Batman on the list, which is something I find very interesting. Since this Batman was part of one of the greatest DC animated universes, and possibly the greatest DC animated film universe. Why do I like this Batman so much? I love how this Batman is able to coexist with characters like Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and even Superman, while still being well-grounded. We have not seen many Batman do that. This Batman has the character brought to near perfection in many aspects. He has captured the dark and grittiness of Batman perfectly, and also the suits he wears just look amazing and they scream Jim Lee's Batman. Sometimes literally. I do not particularly love all of his movies. He's had multiple movies, by the way. I do love his argument with Catwoman in Batman Hush, when she's mad at Bruce for trying to save Riddler, even though he tried to kill all of them. And you can see Bruce is genuinely sad that he was unable to save Riddler, since Bruce believes all life is precious. And him accepting that he cannot be with Catwoman due to his inability to change his perspective on life is just so cool. I mean, come on, what other character would turn down Catwoman because he wants to save a criminal's life? And also, I like how even though this Batman can be dark and gritty, he also visibly shows his humanity. For example, the scene when he saves the children from the doll maker. It just shows his humanity perfectly. Alright, enough of me glazing, time for our number 2 pick. At our number 2 spot, we have my GOAT, Arkham Batman. If many of you have seen my content before, you probably are confused as to why he's in my number 2 and not in my, number 1 spot. And you'll see in a second. Arkham Batman is a character who goes through many changes, from him being a young and angry Year 2 Batman, to him eventually being a symbol of pure fear. This Batman has seen it all and been through it all. This Batman is very well grounded with being very dark and gritty, lighthearted in some instances, and also being a decent mix between Bruce Wayne and Batman. Why do I love Arkham Batman? His games are pretty great, to say the least, but also he motivates me every day to strive and try to be the best version of myself. I mean, this dude had to take back control of the most dangerous insane asylum in history all in one night alone. Prevent a mass murder in a city filled with criminals while also being poisoned and having to create a cure, which just so happened to need the blood from an immortal being, also all in one night. Stop 8 of the deadliest assassins who were all offered money to kill him all in one night. And take back control of all of Gotham, which was taken over and held hostage by all of Gotham's most dangerous criminals, and you guessed it, all in one night. I mean, come on. This is some crazy stuff right here. How a human did this? I don't know. But he did it. I mean, try to tell me that this dude does not motivate you to work harder. But anyways, yes, this Batman truly is amazing, and I almost had him at my number 1 spot, but I simply could not do that. So without further ado, let's get on to the greatest adaptation of Batman. The greatest adaptation of Batman is Batman the Animated Series Batman. I mean, come on. Who else could it have been? Ben Affleck? I mean, this is the definitive version of Batman. He was the Batman of basically everyone's childhood, whether it was Batman the Animated Series, the Justice League TV show, or even Batman Beyond if you were a weirdo. I'm just kidding about that last part. Maybe. But back to my point. We all have seen this Batman, and I mean, I can't think of any flaws with this Batman. This Batman has everything that is great about all the other versions of Batman. He's perfectly dark and gritty, a perfect mix between Bruce Wayne and Batman, perfectly shows his humanity, and he even is voiced by the greatest Batman voice actor of all time. This was Kevin Conroy's first time playing Batman, and since then, Kevin has played Batman in about 60 different DC projects. I mean, that's insane to think about. Also, this Batman is respected and feared by everyone in this universe. Even Lex Luthor is afraid when he sees Batman for the first time. And every hero in this universe has an insane amount of respect for Batman. That's exactly what this character is supposed to be. And this Batman has made self-sacrifices too many times to count. Also, one of my favorite scenes of Batman ever is when Batman is told by Amanda Waller to eliminate the character Ace. But he knows Ace is dying, and instead of eliminating her, he sits with her and comforts her until she passes. Because he too knows what it's like to have his childhood stolen from him. And also, his animated movies like Mask of the Phantasm are great at showing his character. I could go on and on about this character and why he's the greatest Batman, but none of us have time for that. This Batman is the definitive version of Batman, and honestly, I cannot see any other version ever taking his place. So, that is my opinion on the top 5 greatest adaptations of Batman. What do you think of this ranking? If you disagree, let me know in the comments, and also comment down below what your top 5 favorite adaptations of Batman are. If you do comment your top 5 or wish to critique my list in the comments, I will gladly take your opinions into consideration and respond to your opinions with what I think. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing. I'm trying to branch out to more forms of content, such as more videos like this, or maybe critique videos, or possibly even challenge videos with other video games. I hope those of you who celebrated Thanksgiving had a great Thanksgiving, and if this is the last time you see my content, I wish you all a happy holiday. Until next time, see ya.